Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today, Theta is up 11%. It's looking pretty good right now. We have this three-wave shape here. One, two, three. Of course, it can go a little bit higher. But once it's finished, I'm kind of expecting it to come back down and retest, um, you know, somewhere in this box right in here. Basically somewhere in this box. So we come up, we come back down, and then we start to take off. And that's kind of what I'm hoping and expecting. Now, the reason why is if you look at the last time Theta came down to the bull market support band, we corrected, we hit the low, we bounced off, we came all the way back down to test the bull market support band, a nice 1-2, and then we continued rocking it to the upside. So two things can happen. Number one, basically it all rests on Bitcoin's hands, right? Because for Bitcoin, is the low end for Bitcoin? It's kind of hard to say at the moment. It is starting to look like a bottom in here. It's kind of like that. So it wouldn't surprise me we come back up. And it could be, W and X, and then we come down for Y, and then take out the low. So, and then the whole thing would be WXY. So 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So W, X, and then we get down for Y, and then we start to really get on with it. So that's kind of how I'm thinking of it right now. Now, if that happens, there's obviously, that's sort of my main idea. The reason why is because I would love to see the bull market support band get tested, and then also for this wave to finish. Now, if it's done now, that's fine. Hey, perfect, let's go, I'm ready. But for me, we have all of this liquidity here. Yeah, we did tap into it a little bit, and maybe that's all we get. But it's really about getting down here and testing it to get more long-term sustainability, right? That's what we want. We want that confirmation, and if we get that, then we can have more confidence in the altcoins, right? So let's say Bitcoin comes up and then comes back down. So what that would mean for Theta is, right, maybe Theta can get another push to the upside. That would be nice, and then come back down. But instead of coming out and taking out the low like Bitcoin, right, here's the low, it comes all the way down and makes a higher low, right? That's why we want it to get even higher. We want it to get a little bit higher. If not, well, it's okay. But basically, we want it to get down here. Now, in a perfect world, what would be nice to see is none of that. Instead, we get down here and we basically build a base, right? We build a range in here. Maybe the range is a little bit bigger, right? But essentially, we come up, we come back down, and then we start to, get out of here, right? So basically building a base in here. That's kind of the best way to do it, just like how we did over here, right? We came down and we built a base. We built a big base down in here, which led to this big moment. So if we get something like that, that would be a good confidence booster, right? Adding your positions in here, right? Kind of, it's a little bit early right now. Obviously, it could be a V shape, right? A V shape recovery, which basically means you basically have no chance at buying the dip unless you already did, right? So we, A, B, C, we hit the low, and then boom, we're off to the races. And that could happen. So, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for now, let's look at the bright side. And I think it's all bright, to be honest, because, look at this. The price, again, came all the way down, beautifully pierced the bull market support band. We came all the way back up. We came down about 50%, and then we built this tight range in here. And then you can see we have these 2 points right here, and then we have this little deviation. And I actually took a trade last night based off of that. We came up here, and then I basically bought it about $2.09, and I sold it at $2.28. Just a quick little day trade. I mostly swing trade and hodl and invest, but for me, I saw an opportunity. I took it. We had this 1, 2, was waiting for 3, and it looked like, we're in the process of getting it now. If we break this high, we can go up a little bit higher, but then eventually work our way back down. So, but here's the thing. This base down in here may be sufficient enough to get us going, right? So, would like to see also maybe a Wyckoff structure in here, where we come up like this, and then we develop that spring. We sort of curve around, we do this, and then go. That would be nice to see, and that would kind of make sense for Bitcoin hitting the bull market support band. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the important thing is we really want to stay above this low, but the problem is we need Bitcoin to test, right? I mean, if it's done, then that's great, but there's always going to be that, cloud hanging over our heads that, it could always come back down later. So, but yeah, right now it's actually looking bullish. Let's see. Kind of looks like we have, a potential shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, right? We come up, and now we're bull flagging in here. Right, so it actually looks pretty bullish. We have a shoulder, a head, a quick shoulder. Now it did take out the low, which I don't really like, but basically you had a big impulse and then this bull flag here. So maybe something around 68K would be an interesting target for the short term, and then probably draw out a little bit. Now it can either draw out and take its time, or it can be a sharp move down, which would be better, because again, it would be, this Y wave in here, right? So the whole thing would be 3, 3, 3. So W, X, and a Y, and then boom, and then we get that test. So if we come down here, then that means for Theta and Theta Fuel, let me show you Theta Fuel. I mean, look at Theta Fuel's actually just holding its own. It hasn't even taken out the low yet, but also it hasn't even tested the bull market support band. So we could see 1, 2, 3. So that would finish up that Y wave, and that would make sense for the price of Bitcoin, right? For that 3-wave move. So we would have boom, boom, boom. So basically an expanded flat where we continue rocking. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Now again, it could be done. The price could be finished. We could be already bottomed out, right? Very, very possible. That's why, you just want a dollar cost average. But again, my main idea would be Bitcoin, pumping up a little bit, and then seeing how it reacts up in the retracement level. So let me just show you this real quick. So here is the top of the wave. We go all the way to the bottom. So we'll see how it reacts going into the retracement. Now, when we get up into the retracement levels, what happens? Do we see something identifiable bullishly? Do we get resistance? I mean, do we reverse quickly? That when we get up here, I'll provide an update on what's happening. Now, we might not get up there. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we come down for 5. That would be actually better because then we wouldn't have to worry about getting up here, right? But I kind of do want to get up here just so that, you know, the alt can get a bigger bounce. So that way it sort of reduces the risk of them breaking their low, right? So if I go back to Theta, you know, let's say Bitcoin gets into its retracement levels up here, and Theta does as well, and then it comes back down. Here's the low, and then it makes a higher low, and then it sort of creates a base in the process, and then boom, let's go. And that's kind of how I'm thinking of it. Again, same thing kind of happened over here. We came down, we made a low, we came up, we came back down, we made a higher low, all on the bull market support band before rampaging to the upside. So it's looking interesting. To me, it's a little bit too early to determine that. You know, you kind of want to see a little bit more price structure. Obviously, again, there is the possibility that this could be just a total V-shaped recovery, right? But I don't really like that because of this here. It just, you kind of want a little bit more price action ranging in here, coming back up, then something like that. So we'll talk about it when we get there. You know, today is a good day, right? It's the weekend. We got a nice pump. I mean, look at this. Total's up 3%. ETH is up 3.5%. Total 3 is up 5%. XRP is up 5%. But look at Theta. It's up 12%. Look at Theta Fuels up 11%. So it's looking good compared to other assets at the moment. So yeah, I mean, look at it now. It's up $2.30, and we're pushing up. Let's look at the small time frame here. I mean, look at that. Now it does have a three-wave shape. 1, 2, 3. So, you know, it's moving correctively. So it'll be interesting if we can get 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we do that, then what we're going to want to see here is some type of ABC, right? Here's your low, and then maybe a bigger move back to the upside, right? But right now it's moving correctively. 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So until we can have an identifiable trend, then we can go from there. But I think we're really close. We're getting there. There's a lot to look forward to. I did take a small trade last night. It did work out pretty nicely. But for me, it's not about these little day trades. It's about the grand, you know, the grand cycle, trading the grand cycle and being a hodler. And I think Theta hodlers and investors will be greatly rewarded. I mean, look at this thing. It looks like it's barely getting started. You have your sideways base, monster move to the upside, beautiful correction, right? And then we broke out of it. So we get something going here. It'll be nice to see. Now, again, Bitcoin, once Bitcoin breaks out of its correction, you're going to see Theta finally fulfill what we've been talking about since all the way back down at 64 cents, which is getting into the retracement levels. So where's Bitcoin at? So all Bitcoin needs to do is finish up this correction, right? So it can come down, come back up, and then come down to the bull market support band. But once it breaks out of here with a big vengeance, that's the moment when Theta starts making its move. I mean, look at this. Look at this, the beautiful candles here. Look at that. And then look at all of this right in here. We came right down, beautiful looking, and It's a little early. You can see this one had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. This one only has 3. So maybe we do get a V shape, but it would make more sense if we pulled back, filled in a little bit of those gaps, and then continued higher. And then we would be on our way to the retracement area, right? And then this thing would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get back up into here in the retracements between let's see, what was it, between $5 and $10, really? I would say more around $6, $7, $8. Have our ABC, work out the retracement level, and then eventually break that $15 top. So, this thing is one wave. We can pull all the way back down for a wave 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This thing can come all the way back down for a wave 2, right? And kind of go into reaccumulation a little bit before breaking out. Now, I don't think so, just because of previous cycles. We had a pretty straight shot up. So for me, it'll be interesting, and especially if Bitcoin continues to break out into a new all-time high. It'll be very likely that the alts will follow too. So once Bitcoin gets into its distribution, right? So if Bitcoin breaks out, which I believe it is, and we get up here and then we start going into distribution, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We start making a top just like over here. That's when Theta really starts to take off. So it'll be interesting and exciting. So I'm excited to see what happens. So anyways, that'll do it. Remember, we got a bullish prediction, $5 trillion. Let's see if it happens. I think we got a good shot at it. Especially if Ripple wins that lawsuit, it's going to be very beneficial for Theta, because that lawsuit will set the precedent for other crypto regulations and things like that. Basically saying, hey, if that guy can win, so can we, and it'll give us confidence and it'll give us motivation, right? And then it tells all the investors, hey, they beat their case, we can beat ours too. So it's only gonna, a rising tide raises all ships, right? Also, I wanted to highlight this chart here. Look at this thing. You can see, right, we have a lot of empty space. So it tells me we're probably not quite done yet. And you can see the blue, you can see the fractal in there, followed by that big wave. Well, we're sort of in that middle of that wave now. So yeah, I'm going to talk about this chart later more in detail in the next video. The Bitcoin halving is complete, so it's already done. It takes about a few months for it to really start to have an effect. But yeah, I think it's, the supply shock is coming, and it's the news event is priced in, but the supply shock is not, and that's what matters. So, we finally got it. And if you notice, each time the Bitcoin halving occurred, right, it all occurred at a correction following, right, it occurred right at the bull market support band inside of a correction, which is interesting. Anyways, guys, I appreciate everybody. If you can, that would be amazing if you can hit that like button and drop a comment. And I'm going to talk more about Theta and Theta Fuel sometime this coming week, and really get into price targets and talking about different ideas. But I really want to see a base get held in there and some structure being held in there. So, we've been good this whole time. Nothing's changed, except, things are getting better. Things are getting more bullish and more exciting. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think, is Theta, the big question is Theta going to break into a new all-time high within the next year, right? So this year, um, I think there's a good shot. Now, I would probably extend that 1 year, right? So we're in April. So April 2025, I think we could be sitting above $15, and I think that would be an interesting topic for discussion. But yeah, I think let's get this correction out of the way, and we'll see much more detail as the weeks and months come. But that'll do it. Remember, not financial advice. Just wanted to pop in and give a little update. We're up 11% today. Not bad. Let's see if we can keep the momentum going. If we do, it probably will have a pullback and a revisit. Hopefully that'll be a higher low, and we'll see from there. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, you can always do so through the YouTube tip jar, and that's always very appreciative. Dropping a comment and a like always helps. And if you have any coins you want me to take a look at, you can drop them in the comment section, and I'll add them to the list for rapid fire, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.